Hi, wonderful yoga and action community, core nourishment community, students, friends, and family. I'm Annie Wagner, and I wanted to offer you more low to the ground, about 20 to 30-minute yoga practice today to really focus on our shoulders, our neck, our hips, our lower back. I know a few of us have been either sitting more than usual, maybe supporting kids with remote learning, or just doing a lot of work from home. Maybe some of you are more active than you normally are and you're feeling some more tension in the lower back or the hips. So wherever you're holding on to tension, just allow this practice to help you to begin to pour energy and oxygen into those spaces, get some more blood flow and oxygen, and just get some of that stuck energy moving through and out. So let's come into a child's pose to begin. I will demonstrate what that is and then come back to a seat to instruct. But you can choose to keep the knees closer together to add more flexion for the spine, or maybe you might want to open the knees a little bit wider and then just allow the hips to sink back toward your heels and gently begin to come down toward the earth, bringing your forehead to your mat, or you can always bring your forehead, your third eye, to a yoga block or a pillow. You can choose to wrap the arms around the body, which will open up the upper back a little bit more. Some of you might even choose to bring the elbows toward one another and then bend the arms, bringing the hands to the base of your neck or the space between the shoulder blades, which just helps to open up your triceps and the back of your upper arms. So just take another moment or two to get settled. And then feel free to keep the eyes soft or maybe even flutter the eyes closed. And then drop inward. What do you notice? What sensations are you connecting with physically? Places where you're holding on to tension or maybe gripping? How is your breath? Does it feel shallow or choppy? What's the rhythm and the cadence? Where are your thoughts right now? Is your mind racing? Connecting with resistance you might be experiencing, and sometimes this is more mental or emotional than just physical. And then as you give yourself permission to land here in your practice, what changes? Where do you begin to soften? Perhaps your breath is beginning to deepen naturally. Some of you might even experience a wash of vulnerability or emotion as you land here in the present and really gift this practice to yourself. Let's take 3 cleansing breaths together, inhaling deeply through the nose, filling up all the way. Exhale, sigh it out, release, letting go. 2 more, just like that. And exhale. 1 more. Can you allow the breath to come and expand into the sides and the back body as you inhale? And then as you exhale, really surrendering down into the support of the earth beneath you. As you continue to breathe, feel free to continue with the sighs, but with the mouth closed. Starting to connect with Ujjayi breathing, yogic breathing, really inviting more heat and energy into the body. It's almost as if you're sighing out through the nose. I invite you to connect with an intention for your practice. If that resonates with you, remembering that it can be as simple as 1 word, and perhaps that's breathing. If you're unsure, sometimes I simply like to ask, what is it that I need to hear that serves me in my highest, deepest good in this now moment? And then just notice what floats in for you. Imagine with your next inhale, that intention pouring into your heart space a little bit deeper. As you exhale, you're continuing to surrender into the practice. From here, you can choose to keep the eyes closed if they are, and then just begin to gently walk the hands to the right. We're gonna add some lateral stretch down the left side body, keeping the hips anchored toward the heels. Finding your edge, perhaps even gently placing one hand on top of the other. Continuing to breathe into the side body. Wonderful. From here, in your next inhale, just begin to walk the hands through the center. And this time to the left, feeling that stretch down the right side. Perhaps it's a little bit different. It's often the case, side to side. Can you surrender a little bit more, letting the hips sink back a little bit more, letting go of the head, letting go of striving, finding a little bit more gentleness, more ease. And then on your next inhale, gently begin to walk the hands back through the center. Finding a little bit more reach through the fingertips, and then slowly round yourself up to a tabletop, hands and knees. So we're gonna line the wrists beneath the shoulders, spreading those fingers wide, knees beneath the hips. And on your next inhale, let's soften the belly, finding an arch, lifting the tailbone on the head. As you exhale, push the floor away, navel towards spine, chin to chest. Beautiful inhale, rolling through the spine, one vertebra at a time, lifting your head up last. And then exhale, rounding, just finding your own pace here, your own flow. Let your breath guide your movement. And perhaps finding a different expression, whatever your body's calling for. Maybe some C curves side to side, or bigger circles. You can walk the hands forward, open the knees up a little bit wider, making these circles as wide as feels good for your body. Beginning to bring some energy into the hips, the low back. If you are circling, make sure you circle in the opposite direction. And eventually, after your next inhale, let's all land back in tabletop on our exhale. I want you to feel the earth beneath the hands and beneath the shins, really pressing down as you energetically draw your navel up toward the spine, engaging the core. This protects your lower back, and we're going to begin to stretch that right leg back, pressing through the ball of the foot, really lengthening through the calf, feeling that stretch and that length come all the way up through the spine. Gaze stays right beneath you, so the back of your neck is long. And then feeling that connection to your core, gently begin to lift that right leg to a hover. Good. Can you flex that foot and find more length behind the knee? And then reach if you want your opposite arm. Left arm forward, thumb dials up toward the sky. Feel your strength. Notice if your breath changes at all as you shift into this strengthening and balancing posture. Can you allow it to stay full and steady? On your next exhale, let's round, bringing the knee in, drawing your elbow in if your arm is raised, chin to chest. Good. Inhale, lengthen, reach really long. And then exhale, round. One more. Good. Inhale, reach really long. As you exhale, you're going to allow that right knee to come down as you kickstand the leg. Stack the left hip on top of the right, stacking your shoulders, and then just stretch yourself open. Expanding open to joy here. Some of you who've practiced with me know I love this stretch. Just let it be your own expression. Perhaps you're bringing the heart center and the chest toward the ceiling. Opening up, reaching the arm back. You can circle the arm. You can add more of a side plank variation and balance. You can even bend that left leg. Find the top of the foot with your hand and then kick it open to continue to open up through the front of your left quadricep and hip, the front of your left shoulder. Keep the breath moving. If you're holding onto your foot, gently let go. Everyone inhale for a little bit of expansion. And then as you exhale, you're gonna let that left knee come down. You're gonna thread that left arm, reaching really long before you land on the back of the arm, the side of your head. And then from here, do whatever feels good with that right arm. You can reach it overhead, up toward the ceiling, wrap it around behind you. Really stretching through the shoulder blades. Landing again with your inhales and exhales, really letting your breath, this life force energy, nourish your body. Continuing to wash away tension, as well as anxiety and fears that you're holding on to, that are living in your tissues and your joints. One more breath here. And then gently bringing that right hand down by your face. Inhale, press through your right palm as you sweep that left arm up toward the sky. And then gently bring it back down, coming back to your tabletop. Let's inhale, soften the belly, tuck the toes under. As you exhale, we're going to come into our first downward dog by lifting the hips up toward the ceiling. And take your time here. You can pedal the feet, shake your head, yes and no, really spreading those fingers wide, pressing through the base of the thumbs and the forefingers, just to allow the triceps to wrap in, opening up the upper back. Maybe softening those knees as you come way up high on the balls of the feet, lifting those heels, and really focus on the press through the palms to lengthen the spine, lifting the hips up a little bit higher. Good. And then we'll gently bring the knees back down. Let's sit back on our heels. You may choose to come into a seated position if this doesn't feel good for your knees. And we're just going to do a nice neck release before we do that flow on the other side. So let's just let the chin naturally fall toward the chest. Feel a little bit of a stretch through the back of the neck. And then on your next inhale, just slowly allow your left ear to start to roll towards your shoulder. Notice if your shoulder came up to meet the ear, can you allow that left shoulder to roll back and down? And then begin to slowly extend the right arm. Feel this length down the right side of your neck. Perhaps rotate the right palm toward the sky or wrap the arm around behind you to anchor the shoulder down. And you can always place your left hand gently on top of your head or even wrap it around the side of the face. Letting the chin gently fall in toward the chest, or maybe lifting the gaze in your chin. Really trying to find the juiciest spot here, and then find some stillness and breathe into this release. Good. On our next exhale, we'll gently float back to the center. Just take a moment to wiggle, shake out. Good, and we're gonna do our other side. So just let the chin gently fall in toward the chest, and then slowly begin to roll the right ear toward the right shoulder. Once again, inviting that shoulder to relax down, and then when you're ready, extending that left arm out to the side, rotating the palm toward the sky, playing with that, just noticing what really supports the stretch for your body. It might be different side to side. And then you can always bring your hand to your head or wrap it around to the side of the face. And then just play with the angle of the head here. Breathe. Imagine with each exhale, you're just letting go of what's no longer serving you. Let that weight that you're holding on your shoulders melt away. Good, and then on your next exhale, gently come back to the center. Let's release the hands behind the back, inhaling. As you exhale, draw the shoulder blades down the back. You can lengthen the arms, reaching the knuckles towards the floor. And you may keep your hands on your lower back, or some of you might even float the hands further away. Good. Lift the chin if it feels okay, opening up the front of the throat. Connection to your voice and truth, opening up the heart center. Let the light pour in. And then gently release the hands. Excellent. We're going to come back to our tabletop. And you can always come to your fists if this feels like a lot for the wrists. So just making sure that that line going across the top of the wrist is straight. Pressing down through the palms and your shins, connection to core as you draw your navel up toward the spine. And then let's stretch that left foot back, really pressing through the ball of the foot, lengthening through the heel. Feel the stretch come up to your calf. I gently and naturally tend to rock a little bit forward and back. And then slowly begin to lift that leg to a hover. Imagine you're balancing a glass of water on your lower back and you don't want it to tip. So sometimes the tendency is to kind of pop that hip up. So see if you can roll your left hip down and in. Draw up through your core, lengthen back through your left heel, and then if you want, you can add your right arm. Thumb dials up toward the sky. Good, so inhale for a reach, for length. As you exhale, draw your knee in rounding. If your arm is raised, you can bring your elbow to meet it, chin to chest. Good, inhale, lengthen. And exhale, round, navel towards spine. One more time. Shaking and wavering is completely normal. Good, we'll inhale for reach, and then this time as you exhale, you're gonna allow that left knee to come down. I'm gonna switch around here. Extend the leg and then stack your right hip on top of your left to reach that right arm up. And same thing, just move however feels good on this side. Expanding yourself open to joy. Connecting with your energy. Reaching the arm overhead, long ear, and reaching and looking down can get a nice stretch through your lats, through the sides, your intercostals and your ribs. Or maybe you want to do what you did on the other side. If you bent that leg, find the top of the foot with your hand and then kick it away to open up the front of your hip and the quadricep and your shoulder. Find a steady breath. If you're holding onto your foot, gently release. Everyone, inhale for expansion. And then as you exhale, you're going to slowly bring that right knee down and thread that right arm. Reaching really long before you land on the back of the arm, the side of the head. From here, you can reach your left arm up toward the sky, overhead. Whatever feels good. And the side might be a little bit different. And then breathe. Really imagine the space between the shoulder blades, behind the heart center, is softening and opening. Notice if you're really weighted on one side, can you even the hips out, and does that change the stretch, the quality at all? Good, one more breath. You can gently bring that left hand down by your face. Inhale, pushing through the palms, sweep the right arm up toward the sky. And then exhale, gently bringing that right hand back down. Good, let's inhale, soften the belly, tuck the toes under. As you exhale, once again, lift the hips up toward the ceiling, downward facing dog. Steadying your breath and your gaze. Feel free to continue to move however feels good. Wagging your tail, maybe bending the knees. Grounding the heels toward the earth, whatever feels good for you. And then we're going to inhale, sweep the right leg up toward the sky. As you exhale, stack the right hip on top of the left. Bending the knee, just let the weight of the foot fall so you can feel the stretch come up through even the front of your hip, maybe into your abdomen. Good, inhale, sweep that right leg high. As you exhale, you're going to roll through your spine and step that right foot to the outer edge of the mat, letting the left knee come down. Good. So if you have sore knees, you can always pad your knees with an extra blanket or a fold of your mat. We're gonna stay here for a moment. You can also bring your hands to blocks or books or pillows, and then slowly begin to allow the toes to lift on the right side and let your knee begin to fall open. You're winging it open, getting a nice stretch through the outer edge of the right hip, the front of your left hip flexor. Some of you may choose to stay upright, really using your pressure down through the hands into the floor or maybe your blocks to continue to stretch open across the front of that left hip a little bit more. Or some of you might choose to come down to your forearms. Just settle into your breath. We're going to stay here for a little bit just to continue to open up the hips. This also wraps into the lower back. It's amazing how much we can store in our hips. okay to wiggle a little bit. And then as you're here, some of you might choose to maybe ease out, come back to a milder edge. Or if you want to increase the stretch across the front of that left hip, you can always bend the knee and find the top of the foot with your right hand, staying upright or on your forearms, whatever feels best for you. Continue to let your breath just nourish the body. Where can you soften and surrender a little bit more? Good. If you're holding onto your foot, just gently release it. If you're down on your forearms, slowly come up to the hands. We're going to inhale, push through the palms as you exhale. Let the hips sink back. And you can walk the foot between the hands, coming into this hamstring stretch. For now, I want you to see if you can keep the sole of the foot rooted and grounded. The stretch across the top of the ankle and the foot. And then slowly begin to lift the toes and notice how that might increase or change the quality of the hamstring stretch. Can you let go of the weight of the head? When you do that, do you notice how the stretch can wrap down through the back, into the hips and the hamstring? One more option here is to add a twist, walking the hands up and over the right shin, and then add a slight turn out of that right foot, and really letting it turn out, and you're gonna get more of a lateral stretch up the outer edge of your right leg. Breathe. I know this is intense. At any point, please back off to a milder edge if you need, or you can even come into a child's pose at any time. Good. We're going to slowly begin to walk the hands, if you're twisted, back to the center. Everyone bend into that right knee. And then sweep the arms up. You can choose to keep the hands on your knee, really letting the hips sink, getting a deeper stretch through the front of that left hip. Or you can choose to reach the arms up and maybe cactus the arms. Open up into the chest, the shoulders, draw the shoulder blades down the back. Maybe find a smile. Good. Inhale, sweep the arms back up if you've cactus. As you exhale, let the hands find the mat on either side of your right foot. You're going to tuck the left toes under, inhaling. And then as you exhale, gently come back to a downward facing dog. Good. Pedaling the feet, shaking the head out. You can always come to your child's pose here. Good. We're going to inhale. Before we do the left side, we're just going to slowly step that left foot forward. Take your time, and then you're going to walk the hands to the right. We're going to come into a wide leg forward fold. I like to turn my feet inward a little bit, which just gets more of a stretch to the outer edge of the legs and the ankles. However, you may choose to keep your feet more parallel as opposed to the heels spun out. Play with how wide the feet are for you, and you can always bring your hands to pillows, to books, to help if you want. Let's inhale for length, almost as if you're doing like Ardha Uttanasana, like lifting up halfway in a forward fold, lengthening the spine, lifting the heart. As you exhale, just allow yourself to melt. Good, let's walk the hands to the right. Feel again more of a lateral stretch to the outer edge of that right leg. And then you can bring your left hand down as you sweep the right arm up, adding a twist. Let go of forcing and see if you can find a little bit of ease to your twist. And then as you exhale, melt back through the center and walk the hands to the left. Let's stay here for a breath or two. Continuing to notice how the body's feeling. Where are the louder sensations? Which sides are talking to you a little bit more? Bodies are so wise. And then keeping the right hand pressed down. Inhale, sweep the left arm up. And as you exhale, float back through the center. Good, now let's have the feet go on a turn out, and you're gonna bend into that right leg. more of a side lunge, getting a stretch through the inner line of that left leg. And then you can always lift the heel, lift up, and then walk through the center. Start higher up and then slowly, if you want, come further down. Again, we're opening up this inner thigh line, the groin. We'll come back through the center. Inhale, keeping the feet either on a turnout parallel or slightly turned in, and then just let yourself melt into your wide leg forward fold. Really like letting go of the weight of the head. You may choose to keep the hands down beneath the shoulders, or maybe you find your big toes with peace fingers. Some of you might even choose to continue to open up the shoulders and the chest by interlacing the hands behind the back and then drawing the knuckles up toward the ceiling, drawing the shoulder blades together and down the back, whatever feels best for you. Let your breath stay steady and full. Continue to let go of anything that's no longer serving you. Just imagine it's pouring out of the crown of the head. Good, let's soften the knees. If your hands are interlaced, gently release them, bringing them back down toward the earth. And then everyone just slowly begin to walk the hands back to the left. Inhale, lifting the heart. As you exhale, step back to your downward dog. Good. And then we're going to inhale, sweep the left leg up toward the sky. As you exhale, stack your hips. Bending the knee, just let the weight of the foot hang as the knee comes up toward the ceiling, opening up your hip. Perhaps you feel this come up into your abdomen. Inhale, lengthen that left leg once again, squaring your hips off. As you exhale, slowly roll through your spine and step that left foot to the outer edge of the mat. Right knee slowly comes down. Good, keeping that breath steady. Allow your hips to evenly descend, for your body to come gently into this hip opener. Notice what might feel different on this side. And then slowly begin to lift the left toes and just let that knee begin to wing open to the side. So the sole of the foot, as you can see in the video, tends to come up and open. This helps to protect the knee joint. And then some of you may choose to really lift the gaze, pressing into the floor or your props, or maybe come down to your forearms. Last option here is to bend the knee and find the top of the foot with your left hand. Then continue to open up the front of your quadricep and the hip. Finding that mild to moderate sensation, so a gentle ache, maybe a little bit of bitterness is healthy. So we're getting deeper into the connective tissue and the fascia in the body. If you look at a scale between 0 to 10, ideally landing somewhere between a 2 and a 5 here. So if you find that you're having a hard time breathing or the sensation is getting a lot more intense, just a message from your body to back off a little bit. Good, so if you're holding onto the top of the foot, gently release. If you're down on your forearms, just gently push back up, and we're gonna inhale, bring our weight back to our shin as we straighten that left leg, walking the foot in between the hands or blocks. And for a moment, just keep the sole of the foot pressed down so you can feel the stretch across the top of the ankle and the foot. And really try to let go of the weight of the head. Can you roll that left hip down and in? Kind of squaring those hips off. Good, and then begin to lift the toes, flexing the foot. How does this change the stretch for you? Oftentimes it gets a little bit more intense. And then that last option is to add the twist. So walking the hands up and over the left leg here, and then having that foot do a slight turn out. This will increase the lateral stretch up through the outer edge of that left leg into the IT band. I know it's intense, breathe. Know that you can always ease back. Good, we'll slowly come back. If you added that twist, everyone then slowly bend back into that left knee. And you can bring your hands to your knee, letting the hips evenly descend. Some of you might even choose to bring the hands up, and you can always cactus or interlace the hands behind the back again, really opening up the chest and the heart and the shoulders. Letting those hips evenly descend. If you are adding that little bit of an arch, think about drawing your belly button in toward the spine. Really engaging the core really also helps to protect that lower back so you're not compressing too much. Good, let's inhale. Release the arms if they're interlaced behind the back. Everyone reach them up. As you exhale, bring the hands down by either side of that left foot. Tuck the right toes under. And then on your next exhale, we're gonna step back to a plank, a push-up position for a moment. You can always bring the knees down, heels together towards your seat. I want everyone to think of one thing you are proud of about yourself. Really land in your strength. We are all stronger than we know it. And it might be doing this right now. Holding on to that strength, let's slowly lower down. So you can do knees first and then chest, or just lower through your chaturanga. Coming all the way down. Let's bring one hand on top of the other, forehead on the hands. And then just bend the knees and windshield wiper the legs. Good, relaxing the legs down. We're gonna bring the hands out really wide. Those arms out, creating teepees with the fingertips. Let me face you. Elbows out. Draw the shoulder blades down the back. Good. I want you to press through the tops of the feet, just like when you do a cobra or an upward facing dog. We're gonna use the strength from the top of the feet up through the legs to find that back extension as we lift up. Good. Lightly on those fingertips. And then you're gonna let that right shoulder, I'll mirror you, drop as you look to the left. Just stretching through that shoulder a little bit more. Good, breathe. And then come back up through the center, lift the heart, and then drop that left shoulder. Good, inhale back up through the center, feel the strength. And then exhale, lower all the way down. Let's reach that right arm out to the right. You're going to use your left hand just to help you to assist to roll up on top of that shoulder. Keeping your head down, we're opening up through the front of the shoulder and the chest. You can always, as I'm doing, bend your leg and just place a foot in front or behind the right leg. Just letting that hip open as well. And then slowly coming back through the center. We'll do the other side. So stretch that left arm out. It might be different. Use your right hand to help you to assist to roll up on top of that shoulder. You can play with the angle of the arm, maybe rotating the palm up toward the ceiling or down. Settle into your breath. Let it continue to nourish your body. Any areas where you're continuing to grip or hold on to resistance, can you invite those spaces to receive your breath more fully? Wonderful. We're going to come back through the center. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Inhale, push up through your tabletop, and exhale back to a child's pose. Opening those knees up or bringing them closer together just like we began. And my invitation for you is to choose to stay in child's if that feels really comforting and supportive for you, or you may choose to ease your way onto your back for your Shavasana. Take your time as you transition. Just coming into the most relaxing position possible for your body. And then again, your eyes can stay soft or feel free to flutter them closed. Just observing how the body is feeling now from how you were feeling at the beginning of your practice. Where have you softened? maybe connected with more opening and more space, more expansiveness within. Each inhale, a sip of compassion into your own body and soul. Each exhale, a letting go of fear, anxiety, stress, grief. Feel the body sink down into the support beneath it. Let's take one more really nourishing deep breath here, your biggest inhale yet. And exhale, let go. Gifting yourself a few more minutes here of some stillness and presence. Let your breath guide you into a deeper state of calm, and I'll bring you out when the time comes. Slowly bring your awareness back to your breath. Just feel your body supported by the earth beneath it. Take a moment to repeat your intention to yourself if you thought of one at the beginning of your practice. That way you can carry it with you as you leave your mat today. Let it be your anchor. And then when you're ready, just gently begin to bring movement to your fingers and your toes, just wiggling them. Movement to your muscles. Taking your time. Moving however feels supportive for you, whether you're in child's pose or on your back. Maybe that means gently rocking a little bit. Pausing for one more moment just to ask yourself what it is that you are grateful for. And then holding on to that gratitude and your intention. Just slowly ease yourself back up with your eyes still soft or closed into a comfortable seated position. And And then let's draw the palms together, our heart center, Anjali Mudra. Just take a moment to draw the thumbs in toward the sternum. Gently bowing to yourself, honoring yourself in this practice, thanking yourself for showing up and being present, really gifting yourself this time. Pouring self-compassion back into yourself, offering a little bit more gentleness and ease, and allowing that energy, that kindness to pour back out to others in need and to the world. Let's take one more cleansing breath together, inhaling deeply through the nose, filling up all the way. Exhale, release. The light within me honors the light within you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me in practice today. Please reach out if you have any questions at all. You can find me at anniewagner.com, and I'm wishing you gentleness, love, and light.